Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. And I have a dreadful rack, all consonants. But I think playing through the eye of chi is better than changing. So I have twink. Not many points, but the rack leaves okay. And this is certainly better than changing. Great, that looks a lot more balanced. I don't think there's a 7 here, but there could be some 8s through the right floater. Not seeing anything with the T. How about the K? Close to crep latch. That would need the T to be a C. So I'm not seeing a bingo with this rack, but I've got a couple of good scoring tiles in the P and the H. I'm not seeing any candidate moves at the moment. Great, just 20 points. I thought for a moment that was a double-double. So, a couple of vowels. They could be useful floaters. Do I have a bingo with an A? Certainly looks close to one. How about the E? No, I'm not seeing a bingo. Now, how about the T? No. Okay, so what to do? I could play Hap. I also have Par. And I think Par would be better because it doesn't take a vowel in front of HE on this double word square. I don't really like this rack. Leave LRT is vulnerable to any of these tiles being duplicated. I'd much rather get rid of the L. But I can't see a way of doing that. So this is 29, which is a good score. Do I have something better? I could play Fat, keeping ELR, but I don't think that's a better rack leave than this. Am I missing something here? Well, not that I can see. I'm going, well, let me just put this back. There is a double lane in column 11. Just wondering if I have something down there. Ah, do I have pleather? Yes, I do. Wow. That would have been immensely annoying to miss. Absolutely immensely annoying. So this is pleather for 78. It does take an S. I can't play it higher up. P-L-E-A-T and then the E. So I have to go with it here. Pleather for 78. Wow, great pickup. And by that I mean I've drawn the first blank. The rest of the rack not so great. Although through a G or a Y I would have unifying. Neither available. Could there be another bingo with this rack? Gosh, I was so close to missing pleather. I guess it's just a tricky word to see, because pleth doesn't mean anything. It only exists as a complete word, so the ER isn't really performing the usual suffix role of an agent noun. So, do I have a bingo? And if I don't, what should I do? Not sure how to approach this because there aren't any... Well, I was going to say there aren't any obvious prefixes or suffixes, but I do have un and uni. And I guess I have IFY as well. Let me consider what floaters are available. If my opponent doesn't have an S, he may be concerned about the pleather's hook. So does an A help this rack? I feel that it does. Close to infawny. Not seeing anything. How about the K? No, not seeing anything there. Now I note that my I can go underneath the Q, which may help me sort the rack out. I'd certainly like to deal with the duplicates on my rack, and preferably the U. Just wondering if I have anything ending ing, which would involve using my blank as a G. Well, no G or Y in the open from my opponent. He doesn't block pleathers. And I'm wondering if I have a play in column 11. I do have a lead. It's in my interest to take out such an easy scoring spot. But I'm thinking the best I can do here is fun, which isn't disastrous. N does help I, and blank helps everything. Score's a bit lame. Can I do any better? So I was considering plays ending ing. So really the only candidate play there is unfining, and that's not good. 16 minutes on my clock. So is there anywhere to leave a good rack leave? I don't think I have any good IN words. I do have funk, but that scores almost nothing, so I'm not seeing anything with a comparable score to this, so I am going with this for 22. Well, I don't draw any I's, but I do draw O's, which are non-bingo-y vowels. Gosh, and I've just blocked avoision through the A, which is immensely annoying. Do I have any other bingos with this rack? And 47 points for opponent, that is huge. So in fact, I trail. And opponents have set up 2 S spots. So is there a 7 with this rack? So vision plus an O, if the blank were an S. Do I have anything through this T? Don't think so. It's a pretty unbingo-y rack. Avoision is certainly the only bingo I've seen. Now, what about the N? Not seeing anything there. Now, the board's wide open. I was going to say, what about playing Vino in column 13 to open it even further? But that would involve burning the N, and the N helps this rack leave. So I think Vino for 21 is a better play. Great, surely I am bingoing now. And I've got the S for befits or Phoebes. Wow, 68 for opponent. I certainly need a bingo now just to draw level. So what do I have in column 15, which ends in S? And there may not be a play. Well, there is. I have ironers, needlessly pessimistic there. That places an O next to this triple letter square, so I'd like to find something better. Does ironers have an anagram? Not sure it does. I do have ironers and twinks. Let me see what I can see. So I'm looking for bingos ending S or S to very close to the end. Not seeing anything so far. That's Rosina and ironers. Rosina doesn't play. Not seeing anything else. Still nothing. Prisoner through an E. Is there something here? Don't think so. The Z is still to come, and that's the big worry, with an O next to a triple letter square. However, opponent can't play Z something. It would have to end something Z, so it's not as dangerous as it might be. Ironers for 81. Wow, what a pick. I draw the second blank and the rest of the rack pretty good. So I could have a back-to-back bingo here. Slightly vowel heavy, duplicate A not great. I have Aerobot. Does that play? Not sure it does. What a shame. There's certainly S lanes with Twinks and Funs. Fun also takes a G. What else does it take? A D. And I think that's it. And a K. D, G, K, and S. Not seeing anything with any of those letters. Now, the I of befits could be part of a longer bingo. Doesn't look promising. What about this A of vitiate? Well, that's also unpromising given the number of vowels on my rack. How about the P? It doesn't look particularly useful, so late in a word. Not many suffixes have a P in them. Well, at the moment, this triple letter square is available for my B. But I think the best I can see there is OB. And that doesn't leave a good rack leave. I'd like to be bingoing pretty sharpish with this rack. I'm just wondering if there are any words ending jest. None come to mind. A jest book is good, which I would have if jest was to the left. Now 12 minutes on my clock and 14 on opponent, still 41 tiles in the bag. Vitiate doesn't take any front hooks, it does take NO, but that's unlikely to be played. Now the N of fun is also available. And look at this, the pleathers. Oh gosh, I hope I didn't miss something with my ironers rack ending NS. I guess we'll find out soon. So, opponent provides a couple of floaters. How about the I? That would be a 5 vowel 8. Gosh, close to aerobic. That's not looking great. What about the C? Not seeing anything there. Still 2 S's to come. This pleather spot is pretty big. Just wondering if I should interfere with it. We're pretty much neck and neck. I don't think so. I think row A possibly a higher priority. Buai doesn't hit the triple word square, but it does sort the rack out. Is there a way of getting the B doubled? And I don't think there is. Gosh, what a tricky situation. Boo would certainly leave a very good rack leave of AER blank, but only 12 points, which is dismal. And I'm concerned about row A because if I don't play there, opponent could easily score 50 or 60 points for a 4-letter play. What about playing bio? 15 points. Extinguishes that danger. This doesn't feel great, but what else can I do? I certainly can't play parallel to Iceman because I don't have an H for going next to the C. Is there really nothing better? And I'm just looking to see if I've got a longer word in this spot, regardless of what goes on the double letter square. There could be a bingo here, but I certainly haven't seen it. There is a longer word. Uri, and this rack leave is much nicer. And the B is a scoring tile if I don't have a bingo. And look at this, still 4 O's to come, so I do want to balance the rack, and 18 points isn't terrible. I'm going with this. Wow, I draw the two remaining power tiles, the Z and the X. No bingo here. But I do have very good tiles in the Z and the X. So I could play Zax and Ox. Can I get the Z tripled? I don't think so. B, Z and X are all non-bingo-y, so it would be handy to get rid of 2 of them. I lead by 10 points, so super tight game. And those 2 S's still to come. I can't see anywhere great for Zax. There is row B, which is quite a nice spot. Opponent can't score highly off the Z or the X if I play there. Just looking in column 10, I've got a spot for BI or BA, but I can't get my X or Z tripled, except I could play Beza. Very interesting. Just 14 for opponent. Great, he's balancing a rubbishy rack. Volga takes an S. And this is what I'm thinking of. Beza for 43, pretty decent score. And I'm likely to be able to score with the X next turn and possibly score really, really big with it if I have a bingo. And I don't think row O is particularly dangerous. Volga has obstructed it and there are no double letter squares available. I am going with this. Great, I draw an S for pleathers. What can I do with my X? And do I have a bingo here? I have a 40-point lead. Wow, I could burn my blank and play Yunxes and Vulgars. That would be a good score. What if that's blocked? I don't think I do have a bingo here. So what's my best play in row L ending ANS? Probably Yuans. Yuans may not be good, but Yeens certainly is. 52 points. That may be preferable to Yunx's because it retains the blank and the X. Let me just calculate the Yunx's score. 80 points. Yeah, so I think Yuan's is better. And indeed, I think Yin's is either better or very marginal. And with marginal plays, I'd like to have the blank on my rack for the next turn. Remaining tiles pretty bingo-y, and look at this, row B is a really available bingo lane in the sense that O takes a lot of hooks after it. Opponent taking a while with this play. But I've got two good plays, both of which are unlikely to be blocked. It's unlikely that both of them will be blocked. Now, do I have any further options? I see my X could go next to the A of vulgar, but I'm not seeing anything. Right, well, let's see if Yuan's is good for 52. And it is. Fantastic. So I gave up 27 points there, but I think that was worthwhile doing. I now have a 70-point lead. And I still have the X on my rack for score. I'd like to get rid of it now. And I've got vowels which will assist with that. Not a great rack, though. I'm just wondering if I have a bingo with this rack, close to ox tongue as an 8. But I'm pretty sure there's no 7 here. So where can I play? And I'd like to play off vowels as well. The G does not go well with the X. Hunk takes a C in front. There's still a C out there, so opponent may have had that when he played it. It also takes a T in front, and there's one T to come. I have Y go down from the Y, which it extinguishes effectively the bingo danger in row O. And the rack leave isn't too bad. And it's 24 points, so it's not a totally trivial score. Although vulgar takes an S, the S isn't available in the 7th place of a bingo, so it's not as dangerous a lane as it would otherwise be. However, remaining tiles are pretty bingo-y. Almost all of the non-bingo-y tiles have been played. Now, opponent plays in my spot, 8 minutes on my clock. I didn't have an alternative play in mind. So, what to do? I think this rack is too good to change. What about this? Boom, 27 points. Rack leave okay. I do lead. This hugely restricts the bingo lanes available in rows B and C. Probably the chunk thunk danger is the biggest, but I have a blank. And any bingo in column 4 is likely to open up bingo lanes in column 3. I don't like this rack leave. It is vowel heavy, and there are a lot of O's and E's to come. But I do like 27 points. Okay, this looks close. This looks close to a bingo. Do I have one? Is geologe good? As in geologer without the R? I don't think it is. I'm just wondering if it's worth going through the alphabet. I think I will. Opponent's on turn. That would be a taleggio beginning with a T. Not seeing anything yet. Still nothing. Leggiero through an R. No R available. Well, that looks close to something. That would be geologer through an O. 3 O's to come. So I live in hope. Okay, so nothing really. What am I going to do here? I think this is probably an easier rack to sort out. I certainly need to split up the duplicate G. Okay, now opponent does provide a floating O, but it has to have a C or T in front. And I don't have anything with that. The W doesn't help. It's in the wrong spot for Woggle, but I'm grateful for opponent for taking out the danger of column 4. Now, 6 minutes on my clock, 7 tiles in the bag. And I'm looking at a row L play to set up a ladder heading to the bottom left, which is desirable when you're ahead. And I do have one. I have a nice one. I have egg for 21. Rack leaves fairly balanced. And that totally takes out the W and the O as floaters. X takes an I and a U after it, so row C not particularly dangerous. So I would say this board is wrapped up, apart from bingo's ending S blank D, and there are no S's left. Opponent played the last one with wolves. Wow, I'm close to a bingo, a playable bingo. I have eclog on my rack with the blank as a U, but O-U-E, not good. Will opponent open a bingo lane? And I have Eco Lodge through, what's that through? An O or a D. And look at this, O's and D's still to come. Now, are there any bingo lanes I've overlooked? Well, there's row D for bingos ending in P. And my rack doesn't look like it makes such a bingo. I'm not seeing anything with the blank as an I, and eclog doesn't have an anagram. What about bingos ending in W? Not with this rack. What are the front hooks for egg? Right, yes, fantastic, here we go. PO takes a U in front. I have eclog. Eclog for 81 points. Bang! And that puts me unassailably in the lead. Opponent's got delated, but nothing goes next to the C, so I don't think he's going to be able to play that. Fantastic. So, can I go out with ANY? And surely I can. Okay, but where? I have navy in column 6. Is there a second out? Wow, that was so good. That's so good to have a bingo on your rack it doesn't play, and then opponent makes the perfect opening for it. Not only was it playable, it was a triple word bingo. Fantastic. 4 minutes on opponent's clock, 6 on mine, so no time trouble for either of us. Now, did I identify a second out? I don't think I did. Just navy. I thought the E was going to be useful, but it's not. This rack makes nay and any, both of which end in Y, so that doesn't work. OE only takes an S. I have no way through the W, but egg doesn't take an A in front. It does take a Y. So I have nowie in that spot, but that's not an outplay. So where else should I consider? Nothing with the X. Nothing in column 11. What about... Well, I have Caney. I have Caney and Navy. I think it would be pretty amazing if both of those were blocked, and I think probably impossible, so I am going out. Unless opponent bingos, and I don't think he is. He does have delated on his rack. That doesn't play. And he has 2 minutes remaining to decide what to do. An unenviable position for him to be in. So, do I have a third option? When you've got a 3-letter word or a selection of 3-letter words on your rack, it feels like there ought to be more outs than just the 2 I've identified. 19 points for opponent, that's a good score. Has he provided anywhere new for me to play? No. Which scores more, Navy or Caney? I think Caney. That's 11. 10 for Navy. And the final score, 356 for my opponent, 477 for me, a winning margin of 121 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. What a game. Absolutely turned on its head by Eclog. So, opponent to go first. And he played Chi. And I played Twink for 12. I could have got 7 more points for Unth. And yeah, but that keeps 1 more consonant, and there's a big difference between 3 consonants and 4 consonants. So this rack leave of HRT, I would say, is more than 7 points better than KRTW. HRT is quite a nice rack leave. I'd say it's positive, maybe worth 3 or 4 points. KRTW, I would say, is negative and might be worth between, well, maybe pushing -10. Maybe between -5 and -10, so definitely more than 7 points difference. Opponent's rack, struggling with eyes, sorts that out with vitiate. And there it is. That's the move which haunted me because it took so long for me to find, and I would have been galled to miss it. Opponent's rack, no bingo, plays a dime. Phew, no missed bingo here. Now, Finny, A13. Finny and Pi, keeping UN blank, pretty good. Yeah, and I get more points, but I keep double I. And I'm obstructing pleathers, and I'm not providing access to the row A triple word square, so I do actually prefer my play, but I suspect they're fairly close. Opponent's rack, great bingo. Not bingo, great play, befit, great score. And now my rack, no bingo here. I6 Vino, that was my play, and I like it. Great score for opponent, 68 points, and at this point he's 50 points in the lead, but I'm sitting on the first blank, and I can play it with ironers. What else was available? Not very much. Opponent's rack, no bingo, plays Iceman, and now my hopes were raised when I saw this rack. I felt it was pretty close to a bingo. And there was one, a Brook, M6, making funk. Wow. Okay, well done if you spotted that. I missed it. What did I do? I played Uri for 18. Definitely not as good as a Brook, but blank AB, probably worth about 28 points. And add that to the 18, it's 46, so probably about 20 points inferior to a Brook, and Uri does take out the danger of row A. So although a Brook, I think, is a better play, it's not vastly better. And that's often the case when you miss a bingo, but you get to keep the blank. Now, opponent's rack. Missed bingo for opponent, Langer. Where did that play? B6? Yep. That would have been a good score for him. Instead, he plays Vulgar, and we are neck and neck, just 4 points between us. I play Beza for 43. I could have played Bezas, keeping the X for 88. Yeah, I should have done that. That's a 45-point difference, and yeah, that is head and shoulders better than Beza. Now, opponent's rack, no bingo, plays Hunk. And I thought about Youngsters, and I preferred Yuan's, and this is a different situation to the Beza's rack, because here the score difference is just 28 points, and this rack lead is better as well. Opponent's rack, no bingo, plays Yard, and now I have a 40-point lead, and I have the blank, so things are looking slightly better for me. I play Zoo for 27, and I like that. Where's XO? B9. I do not like that. Sticking an E 2 squares to the left of this O, so providing access to row A. Opponent's rack. Plays Wolves. And this was, I felt, a slightly tricky rack, but I liked my play of Egg for 21. Nice rack lead, nice score. Opponent's rack. Tadpole. Nowhere for it. Plays Poe, which is a dream come true because I have Eclog. And I have a huge lead. Opponent, no place for his bingo. Plays Deal. And finally, Cyan. Anagram of Caney would have scored 6 more points. Okay. And that was the end of the game. So, what a game. Great fun. Really, really close throughout until I managed to get Eclog down, and that put me over the hills and into the distance with a guaranteed victory. So, splendid stuff. Many thanks to my opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.